Welcome to Mindfulness and Compassion Week. My name is Bimala Sara, also known as Valerie Mason-John, author of 10 books, including Detox Your Heart, Meditations for Emotional Trauma, and 8-Step Recovery, using the Buddhist teachings to overcome addiction. And today I'm delighted to share an offering called Love That Rust. Yeah. So when I think of compassion, I immediately go to self-compassion. Before we can radiate compassion to beings out there in the world, we have to learn to radiate compassion towards ourselves. Once upon a time, I used to hate myself with a vengeance. It was almost like having a mantra going through my head. I hate myself, I hate myself, I hate myself. And I had to learn to love myself and like myself. And it's been a long journey. And part of that journey is I can remember one day I said to myself, okay, I'm going to have the mantra, I love myself. So every time I'd hear I hate myself, I'd say I love myself, and I would match I hate myself with I love myself. And still, even after that practice for a year or 2 years, I could still hear this voice, I hate myself. Yeah. And it was really difficult because it's so undermining when you have this voice saying, I hate myself. And one day I said, I hate myself. And then the voice said, there's no self to hate. Yeah, just think about that for a moment. There is no self to hate. And some of you might say, there is no self to love. That's great. So what was it that I was hating? I was hating all those thoughts in my head, all those thoughts that would drive me insane. I was hating what we call in Buddhism, papancha, the proliferation of thought. I also had to learn that this voice saying, I hate myself, was a protector, believe it or not. I hate myself was protecting me from feeling vulnerability. I didn't want to experience vulnerability. And so whenever I experienced some kind of vulnerability, I hate myself would just come in like a firefighter. Quick, I hate myself, because that was familiar. I could be with I hate myself. I just couldn't be with the tenderness of vulnerability, the tenderness of hurt, the tenderness of sadness. Also, that voice, I hate myself, was protecting me, because if I hated myself so much, nobody else could hate me as much as I hated myself. And so therefore, it was protecting me. And when I realized that this was a protector, and every time I heard that voice, I hate myself. When I heard that, I just said, oh, I'm experiencing vulnerability. How can I sit with the tenderness of the sensations in my body? Often when perhaps people say that they're disappointed in us, or we tell ourselves we haven't been validated, or we tell ourselves that we've been blamed, that nobody is listening to me, I haven't been seen, something is wrong with me. Those thoughts actually can give rise to, I hate myself. And these are stories. These are stories. Yeah. Often we can say, I feel humiliated. This is a story. So I said that this session was called Love Your Rust. So we're going to start with the practice of rust, R-U-S-T, And those of you who work with metals, you know what it's like when rust accumulates on metals. It's corrosive. And we know that we can actually rub that rust off so we can bring it back to its natural state. In fact, as a kid, I would love polishing brass. And I raised my hand here. We had brass cutlery, and I can remember rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing the rust or the tarnish off, and the gleam would come through. This natural essence, this jewel would come through. And often, because of the trauma that we've experienced in child conditioning, and all of us have experienced some kind of trauma. Yes, some of us have had a truckload of trauma, and all of us do experience trauma, and we cover up, and the mind and the heart gets rusty. So how can we begin to work with this rust so that we can begin to truly love ourselves? So let's do our first practice called RUST. It's an acronym, R-U-S-T, RUST. So firstly, become aware of your body. Your beautiful body. I'm going to call it a beautiful body because everybody has a beautiful body. It's unique. And there may be a voice saying, how do you know my body isn't beautiful? Well, then just tell it to relax. That's a story, perhaps a story that society has given you. It's a story. It's not the truth, and it's not a fact. So allow your body to settle onto your meditation spot. And then have the sense of the mind dropping into your heart. Mind, heart becoming one. Yes, because often the mind pushes the heart out, and then we're just assailed with these thoughts that keep us trapped in these stories and trapped in the story of self-hatred. So have the sense of the mind dropping into your heart, mind, heart, one, settling into the body. Rust. R stands for recognizing you're activated, just recognizing that you are triggered whenever you find yourself in a story of self-hatred, in a story of beating yourself up. Just recognize you're activated. You are experiencing some vulnerability. U stands for understanding you're just caught in a story full of judgments and perceptions. That's all that's happening. We're caught in this story. We're caught in the story that something's wrong with us, that people don't like us, that we're unlovable, that we're not good enough. We're caught in this story. And it can be a painful story, acknowledging this is a painful story. Understanding we're caught in a story full of judgments and perceptions. S stands for sit with bodily sensations. Search the body and become aware of the bodily sensations. There's always sensations arising in the body, and especially when we are caught in a story of judgments and perceptions. We may have sweaty palms or sweaty groin. The heart may be beating faster. There may be the grinding of teeth. And really see if you can sit with these sensations, these bodily sensations. When we sit with the bodily sensations, we drop into the body. Mind, heart becomes one. We are not stuck in the head. And to help us sit and be in the body, T stands for just tell the body to relax. Tell the stories to relax. Tell the stories to step aside and trust. This too shall pass. Yes, you can tell the story to relax. Tell the story to shut up. Tell the story to be quiet. And tell the body to relax, surrender, and trust. This activation, this vulnerability will pass. And inviting you to take a breath in. See if you can take a deep breath in and expand the breathing throughout the whole body. And you can look around the room, just noticing things in the room. And if you are still experiencing some activation, place a hand on your heart and really see if you can receive the kindness from your own hand. As you breathe in, have the sense of receiving the warmth and kindness from your own hand. Self-love, self-compassion is so important. You may even want to hold yourself, lean into your arms and hold yourself. Sometimes we hunger to be held. And during this time of the pandemic, many of us have missed being held, missed being hugged. And we can actually hug ourselves and hold ourselves and lean into our arms with affection. And some of you may wonder, why do we have to cultivate self-love for ourselves? Why do we have to cultivate self-compassion towards ourselves? Isn't it enough if we can give compassion to others? Isn't it enough if we can give love to others? It's a great start. It's a doorway. And when we're activated, the relationship that we have with ourselves, we will have with others. There is that aphorism which says, if you don't love yourself, you can't love others. I refute that aphorism because I say that if we don't love ourselves, we will love and like others how we love ourselves. So if we love ourselves badly, we will, in the end, love others badly. I remember when I had so much self-hatred towards myself. And I remember being in bed with a lover and looking at my lover, and the lover said, "You look at me as if you hate me." Yes, she had blown my cover. Yes, because it wasn't that I hated her. I hated myself, and I was looking through the windows of my body. Yeah. So this is why it's so important for us to learn to love and like ourselves. And I know it's really, really difficult. How do we learn to love and like ourselves? Yeah. How do we? Is the question. It's a journey. It's not something that we can do overnight. It's a journey. And one of the ways is definitely working with rust. Every time you find yourself activated, just say rust. Recognize you're activated. Recognize you're experiencing vulnerability. You understand you're caught in a story with judgments and perceptions. S, slow down a bit and sit with bodily sensations. Search the body. Become aware of those sensations. And T, tell the stories to relax. Tell the body to relax. And trust this too shall pass. And let's focus on love. Another aphorism. I'm enjoying aphorisms at the moment. And so what better aphorism than to have is love? Yeah. What is love? Some people say. Yeah. I'm still exploring what love is. In Buddhism, we would say that love is metta, unlimited friendliness towards ourselves. And in this practice of the four sublime abodes, or the four immeasurables, or the four Brahma Viharas, we always begin with ourselves. Well, I say always, in fact, actually, because in the West, it's been so difficult for people to give themselves love. Sometimes there is a benefactor, but in the end, we have to learn to love and like ourselves. So in Buddhism, we can say that the natural attitude of the heart is unlimited friendliness, metta, unlimited, unconditional loving kindness, karuna, unconditional compassion, mudita, unconditional sympathetic joy. And just elaborate a bit on sympathetic joy, because sometimes people aren't really aware of what this sympathetic joy is. It's the joy in somebody else's success. It's the joy in seeing somebody doing well. It's the joy in seeing somebody achieving things. Sometimes we can be so bitter and so resentful when we see our friends or our relatives or our colleagues doing well, having joy. But we can only have this joy for others if we really have developed this friendliness, this loving kindness, this compassion. And then, of course, the fourth sublime abode is upekkha, equanimity. And I describe equanimity is being free from the proliferation of thought, being free from all that rust. Yeah. Being free from the prison of the mind. This is where peace is. If we can be free of the rust that has accumulated in the mind. Yeah. Upeka is heart, mind becoming one. It's wisdom, peace. So let's look at love. So we're going to do another short practice called love. Yeah. Go on, say the word love. Go on, love. And see if you can experience the tenderness of love. As you say love, there's a vibration. I can feel the vibration in my body as I say love. I can feel the vibration in my stomach. Yeah. And if you become activated, open your eyes and you could look at Kuan Yin. I have Kuan Yin here. Kuan Yin, the bodhisattva of compassion. And Kuan Yin is genderless. There's no he, there's no she. Kuan Yin, yeah. And it's said that Kuan Yin hearkens to the cries of the suffering. It says that Kuan Yin at night paddles across the ocean, hearkening to the cries of the suffering. So if you experience vulnerability, you can open your eyes, look at Kuan Yin, look at the flowers. You could look around the room and just lamp, trees, screen, books. You could place a hand on your heart. And if it's too much, just get up and walk. You can always come back to this practice. Okay, so love. L. L stands for liking every bit of yourself, regardless of your skin color, race, religion, gender, abilities, oddities, quirks, and differences. Yeah. We know that society has its own beauty myth, no matter which culture you're in. And we know that because of what society projects on us, because of what people projects on us, that we may not like our skin color. I never used to like my skin color. I never used to go out in the sun. And now I love my skin color. And maybe because of the racism in the world, you might not like your race or your religion or your gender or your disability. So I'm inviting you to find one thing that you like, one thing that you like about yourself, and just focus on that. It could be your voice, could be your hands, it could be your skin color, it could be your hair. See if you can find one thing you like about yourself. And if you're unable to, then maybe have a benefactor. And what's one thing that a benefactor, one thing that a friend likes about you? And it may be your friend likes the fact that you have a good sense of humor, and just focus on that. L, like one thing about yourself and sit or stand strong in your difference. L, like, love one thing about yourself. O stands for own your uniqueness. Yes, own your uniqueness. Open up to your authentic self. Open up the heart and invite yourself to stand under a cloud of love as you own your uniqueness. So inviting you to go into your imagination and imagine a bright cloud, a bright cloud. And it can be any color cloud. It can be a rainbow cloud. You can choose. This is your imagination. And stand beneath this cloud and let this cloud shower your uniqueness with love. So you don't even have to think, I love myself, self. Just let the cloud rain on you, and each raindrop is a raindrop of love. And just, even if it's one drop of rain, let this one drop of rain touch your uniqueness. This one drop of love, touch your uniqueness. Oh, own your uniqueness. Own your difference. And stand beneath a cloud of love and allow the love to rain upon your uniqueness. And see if you can feel the love penetrating your body, penetrating your uniqueness. V. V stands for validate your existence, validate your presence. You exist and you are here with me right now. No longer do you have to hide yourself or beat yourself up with all this negative self-talk. Yeah. Really see if you can validate your existence, your presence, have the sense of still standing beneath this cloud of love, rainbow cloud of love. You decide what this cloud looks like, and just allow these raindrops to validate your existence, validate your presence. And you can validate your existence and your presence by touching yourself, placing the hand upon your lap or on your hat or on your heart or your face, and just touching yourself to let yourself know you are here. Or you may even just want to just touch your hands like this and just validate yourself. Yeah, validating your presence, owning your existence. E stands for extinguish, extinguish, extinguishing all the negative slurs that have been projected onto you. All of us have had negative things said about us. And some of these narratives will come back and assail the mind. They will do. And we can begin to extinguish them. They may arise and we don't have to get caught in that story again. So again, we don't have to get caught in that rust. We can let it go. And just know that sometimes when these negative slurs arise, they're trying to help us. So that's why I say love the rust, because we can often go into aversion. Here we go again. I'm with all these negative slurs. I hate myself. Something's wrong with me. Well, we begin to extinguish these slurs by asking them to relax, to step aside. Maybe you could ask, whose voice is it in your head? when it says, you're unlovable, you're worthless, you're not good enough. Whose voice is that? Because often it's somebody else's voice. And if you can acknowledge whose voice it is, you could tell it to shut up. And sometimes, even if somebody hasn't said it to us, what people have done to us, it's created this voice that needs to be extinguished. And just see if you can let the intellectual mind know that these slurs are not true. And really see if you can drop the intellect into the heart and really see if you can feel the tears. And even if tears don't come, just run your hands down your cheeks. Just a sense of tears. You may even want to wet your fingers and just have the sense of wetness and just really see if you can be with the tenderness and the sadness and the vulnerability of these narratives that we have been carrying around for so long. And if you're able to choose one of the hot favorites. What's one of the narratives that keeps on coming up? I'm not good enough. I'm stupid. Nobody likes me. Nobody loves me. Choose one. And then inviting you to let go of it. See if you can let go of it in one of the elements. You may want to let go of it into the wind and let the wind take it away. Or you may want to let it go into the element of water and let the ocean take it away, or let the rain wash it away. Or you may want to let it go into the element of fire. Build a fire and just burn this narrative and just let it burn to cinders. Or you may want to let it go into the earth and dig a hole and just bury it so it's gone. You may want to let it go into space, into spaciousness, and just let it go into spaciousness as if you were letting a balloon just go into spaciousness. You know, when you blow a balloon and you let it go and then the air just goes into nothingness. It's possible for these narratives to be extinguished and to become nothingness. Yes. So giving you a moment to choose how you want to let go of one of these narratives. And remember to breathe. Yeah, remember to breathe. And take a breath in and expanding the breathing throughout the whole body. And you can come back to this practice over and over again. And we can let go of these slurs many, many times over and over again. Love your rust. It's really important that we accept everything that's there. If we push it away, if you see me pushing against my hand or pushing up, there is this resistance. Yeah, And we have to welcome and see the illusion, the magic trick. The mind is the best magic trick that you could ever think of. Yeah, it's full of illusions. It's full of deceptions. We really can be free. It really is possible to be free. This is the beginning of awakening, the beginning of self-compassion. If we can realize that life can actually be meaningless, life can be without meaning. And what I mean by this is that we are habitually making meaning out of everything. We are meaning making machines. It's as if we're born to make meaning out of everything. We're constantly making meaning out of everything. And what if, a reflection for you, what if you stopped making meaning out of anything that happens? What if? Love the rust and let the rust go. The rust can be polished. Love the rust. So I really hope that you can benefit from this simple practice of mindfulness and compassion. They're not separate. Mindfulness is an aspect of compassion. Compassion is an aspect of mindfulness. It's two wings of the same bird. Yeah. And so we could say it's two wings of the same bird of self-compassion and compassion for others. Yeah. There's no self-compassion really if we don't have compassion for others. And if we really don't have compassion, if we have compassion for others, there's no self-compassion. It's all part of the same. It's non-dual. They are not separate. And I will end with a mantra, which means, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be free from all suffering. And just to warn you, I'm going to prove to you that not all Black people can sing. So you can let go of that story. If you think, oh my God, she's going to come out with this beautiful tonal mantra. Okay, I hope that made you smile. So, Sabe Sata Suki Hontu, Sabe Sata Suki Hontu, Sabe Sata Suki Hontu, Sabe Sata Suki Hontu. May all beings be happy, may all beings be well, may all beings be free from suffering.